You are a commissioner from Thurston County, and can you tell us just a little bit, first of all, about yourself, and then a little bit of what you do in your profession?
I am a court commissioner and staff attorney for Thurston County Superior Court, so that's a trial court. I help the judges on active cases that they're working on. I help with court policy, including rules and forms, which I like a lot. And I also work as a court commissioner. And as a court commissioner, I have handled the probate and guardianship docket for some time, first helping the judges and then transitioning to doing it myself. And I also am the chair of the Guardianship Forms Committee, which is part of the Washington State Pattern Forms Committee.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that committee? What's the purpose and what's it trying to do?
So I sit on the Washington State Forms Committee, the big one, and also chair the Guardianship Forms Committee. The Guardianship Forms Committee is kind of new. We've had a lot of pattern forms out there, but they weren't really getting actively updated or made better. So for the last 2 years or so, we have been working on forms that are available to everyone. They're used by people who don't have attorneys, they're used by attorneys, and they are a really good access point for people who want to know about the process and want to go into court and have everything that they need to have done. It's really important to me that everybody has an equal playing field to get into court and get their work done, and it's not too hard. Not everyone can afford attorneys, especially folks who are caring for their disabled family members. They want to do the right thing usually to take care of their family, and they can't afford necessarily hundreds of dollars in attorney fees to do that. So having good forms makes that process transparent and hopefully as easy as possible for them.
So I'm going to guess and just say for a lay guardian, you're probably their best friend. From the standpoint of all this paperwork, which I'm sure can be very intimidating.
It really can be, and having paperwork that is in plain language is an access issue. It's very important that people, everyday people with everyday education levels aren't intimidated by what they see. Now, I'm a professional, I'm a lawyer, I write forms for a living. And I can tell you, when I put my daughter in kindergarten, I was very intimidated by all of the paperwork. And you have to imagine, what would that process be like for somebody with a 5th grade reading, writing comprehension? And we have to assume that a lot of people have a 5th or 7th or 8th grade reading comprehension level. We want them to be able to help their mother, their disabled son, their cousin out, just like somebody who has more money and has the ability to fill out more complex bureaucratic legalese type filled forms.
I can certainly imagine.
Yes.
Okay. So you've been here today and you've been talking a little bit about that as well. Is there anything that's come up today that maybe you weren't aware of or that was a bit of a surprise to you?
It was really interesting to me learning in detail about supported decision making. It's a term that I've heard but didn't know much about. And in particular, I have some sense of how guardians make decisions and help the incapacitated persons make decisions, but I had never thought about it as a human rights issue. And that's how it was framed, is that person, even if they're having very difficult time communicating their wishes, they have wishes, and that must be respected. That's something I try to keep in mind when I'm handling guardianship cases. Although the court has a strong role in those cases, not everybody lives the same kind of lives, and not everybody makes the same kind of decisions.